Everyone, happy Friday. It's Sarah here, and I wanted to share with you something that happened to me today. Extremely personal, extremely raw, and real. But the reason I want to share this with you is because there already is so much stigma around this issue, around this topic. There are so many people trying to keep it in who are suffering in silence, who are holding themselves back, and who are really, really, really in pain, much deep pain. That one of the things that I have decided a long time ago, and I'm walking my talk, is to lead by example, is to speak out, and I'm getting better at it. There's still moments when I find myself self censored, when I find myself holding back. But I know that for the purpose that I've been put here, that doesn't serve anybody. So here I am, putting it out there so that we get the conversation starting, so that we can uh, be supported, all of us, collectively. And the topic is anxiety. Now, anxiety. I have always been open, very open about my postpartum depression, battle with it, the whole journey. I have always been very open with landing in the ER twice due to stress and everything else that was self inflicted. But anxiety has been something that I have learned to cope with. And a lot for a long time, it has been something that I felt coming up and I just pushed it aside, and now I know better. I have been trained by some of the best mindset and energy healers. I have been working with some of the best mindset and energy healers. And I know for myself what I need to do physically, emotionally, energetically to get myself out of it, to process it and get out of it. And today was no different. Although today I decided I need to speak out because I know I'm not the only one who's dealing with this. And when we're here in this online space, I want to share this very clearly. Where we are in this online space, it can feel so made up. It can feel like an illusion that we decide to buy into. It can be very overwhelming scrolling through the newsfeed and looking all these amazing results people are getting, all these amazing lifestyles that they get to enjoy, the travels, the weddings, the vacations, the money goals that they're reaching, the cash flowing into their bank accounts, the new Bentleys in their garages and stuff like that, right? It can be very, very overwhelming. And the first step in dealing with any kind of anxiety, and it's something that I have been applying for myself too, is to allow yourself to experience all those feels, and not but, and knowing when to pull back, knowing when to turn your computer off, and knowing that what you're seeing, what you're allowed to see, is only one side of the complete story. And the sooner you turn inwards, the sooner you start to really allow yourself to be fully felt, to be fully expressed, and to celebrate what you have going on in your life and change the lens through which you see your experiences, the easier it's going to get. Because anxiety in general means that we are just living in the future as opposed to being fully present right now in this moment, where right now this moment is all we have to begin with. Now, my own experience from today. I came from a meeting and I was standing in the kitchen having a conversation with my husband. All of a sudden, I felt this tightness in my chest. I felt that I really was grasping for air. I felt tears coming down my face. And it was just this vision of space closing up on me. And I remember the next thing I remember is having this out of body experience, coaching myself through the process of feeling the feels, processing them, knowing exactly what wound they're coming from, recognizing what kind of healing there still needs to be taking place in order to heal that wound, and in the meantime, to go through this whole process without any judgment and without thinking as I'm anything less or that I'm not good enough or any of those things that we start to judge ourselves with and measure our success with, and all the drama that we are creating in our minds. And sure enough, a few minutes later, I did feel much better, and I did recognize a pattern, that a trigger, and the reaction that has been causing this, and a cycle that I chose to buy into for a moment. And I remember I was in the same situation, convinced that that cycle is the way my life is, about a year ago, when I was contemplating whether or not my girls and I should go to Europe, and I was looking for validation, I was looking for um, approval, I was looking for everything else outside, externally. You know that when we were waiting for that one day when I make XYZ, one day when my scale reaches this number, one day when, whatever it is, right? One day when. Well, that one day when is not on a calendar. Today, right now, this very moment is. And today, right now, in this very moment, you get to choose how you react. You get to choose what story do you buy into. You get to choose to take every element of that story and unpack it. And that in itself is one of the most powerful tools, and itself, reason in itself why I do what I do, how I do it with my clients. Because let's be honest here, when we all have this amazing vision that most of people can't even comprehend, that's why it was given to us and not to them, to borrowing the quote from Lisa Nichols. Um, we have this amazing vision. We are highly intelligent. We are extremely driven, results oriented, right? But there's also the soul side to us, the heart centered side to us. When we want to make sure that we marry both of the worlds, that we operate congruent to who we truly are, and want to make sure that the goals that we have align with that. And sometimes when we have this outside influences of how we are supposed to live, how we are supposed to react, how we're supposed to show up, how much we need to get done, how much we need to do, how much we need to produce, how many people we got to talk to, how many people we need to reach out to, it creates this cycle that never ends, right? Because we keep feeding into it, and the greater it gets, the more we need to feed into it. It's like a snowball that grows and grows and grows and grows. It never stops. It requires more of our time. It requires more of our attention. So of course, looking in the future, and now it seems like, oh shoot, I will never get there because I'm still in this cycle. It's still snowballing and it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's keeping me as opposed to getting closer. It's pulling me away in so many different ways. Let me know if you can relate to that. Let me know if you have ever experienced that. So, what happens in those moments? It's the micro, mini. Um, my English. Just give me a second. My brain froze for a moment. It's that millisecond. It's those micro alignments that we're looking for. Because at every second, every moment, we are making new choices. We are giving the power to this one thought that creates one emotion, that creates, one action, that creates one particular result. So if when we know what we're after, when we know what's aligned, when we know what feels good, and when we respect that feeling and use it as a compass, it really becomes much easier to tap into what feels good, what can I do right in this moment, and you can process this anxiety attack that you're experiencing, detaching yourself entirely from the outcome, releasing all the pressure, surrendering, let it go, all of it, and just be in the moment, honoring yourself, and trusting, knowing that whatever it is that you're envisioning is already done. It's already there. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to have that vision. It's already done for you. The only difference is that time gap between where you are right now and where you think you're meant to go, where you feel you're meant to go, where you feel pulled towards. And that in itself, it's a conversation for another time, but that's how you can then time clock. You collapse the time and you call it in, you bring it in immediately. And instead of dwelling over the future, it's like, oh, course, it's already done. You can cut through the cycle, you can end it, you can get to the next level, you can shift, upgrade, elevate, and go on and move on and really, you know that you already have the answers. Know that already is all done for you, that already everything is falling into place, it's already conspiring to support you because you already have decided what is that you want. The difference is between your ability to really focus on the moment and really be at your highest level energetically and vibrationally versus obsessing about, oh my gosh, what if this goes wrong? Well, oh my gosh, but I don't have XYZ in place. I only have ABC, and not even noticing. A lot of times I think we're so busy with chasing that next big thing that we don't even notice what we already have. We forget to celebrate it. We forget to acknowledge it. So no wonder our wheels are continuously spinning, but not spinning in a way of feeling passionate to live our mission, to, fulfill our destiny. I'm not talking about that drive. I'm talking about the drive out of fear that is based on fear, that is based on the I feel less than, that is based on all the judgment and stuff like that that keeps going on. It's like having this little voice on your shoulder. That's what fuels it and steers it in the wrong way. So I know this was very philosophical in many levels. So let's get to a little more practical things. Um, I love taking all those concepts and complexities and making it into very streamlined, practical, easy to apply steps. Let me just close this window here. There we go. Things keep popping up here. So, to be very practical, again, it is easy to feel anxious about something that we're so focused on in regards to our future when things are so big and overwhelming and just kind of a cloud on our minds. But when we create this space, when we give them a space to be, when we really break them down, hey Judy, it becomes much easier. One of the ways is journaling. Another way is post-it techniques. Another way is to just talk it out, walk it out, do the exercise, whatever you need to get body pumping to really feel on a cellular level connected to yourself. Um, and then you just pretty much reverse engineer whatever that is, this big thing that's clouding your judgment, that's weighing you down, it feels like the world's closing up on you. If it's fear, prove it wrong. If it's limiting belief, unpack it. It really is easy. If it's a wound, well, let's see how we can take down the wall around it so we can actually heal it and not just put another band-aid over it. Because the thing is, if you just put a band-aid over it, it's going to come up over and over and over again. And it's going to be much more intensive than the last time. And it's going to probably cause much more damage than the last one that you left, ignored, and went unhealed. And you just try to, push it aside or build a wall around it. Because the lessons, the life lessons, the things that you have to experience, that you're meant to experience, they're going to come, they're going to show up. And the less attention you pay to them, the more in your face they're going to be, and the more they're going to allow you to face them, head on. Because life does not mess around, but the life is decided to teach you a lesson. It doesn't pick and choose any tools. It, worst case scenario, is going to squeeze you in the corner, pull the rug from underneath you, and make you pay attention. So in many cases, those anxiety attacks are exactly that. It's to have you pay attention to what is currently going on. So like I said, in my case, it's something that I have been through just a year ago when I was deciding if I could take the girls to Europe or not. When I was looking for the external validation, and when I was looking for the particular number on the bank account, when I was looking for particular external milestones, believing that my worth equals to those external milestones, that my worthiness is based on somebody else's opinion or perception, that I don't have the power because of whatever that external milestones were not met. Of course, that was all a story constructed by ego and fear and all the wounds, right? And I'm not talking about wounds like having to go through some major trauma in our childhood. It doesn't have to be major trauma, it doesn't even have to be our childhood. Those wounds can be passed down through generations. So today, when I found myself in the middle of the kitchen, hyperventilating, coaching myself through the process, again, it was the same cycle. I was like, oh, look at that. Isn't that interesting? Hmm, I wonder why this is showing up. Let's unpack it. Let's see what's in it. Let's be curious. Oh, this belief. I wonder why this belief is coming up. Oh, and this conviction. I wonder why this is coming up too. And then this and that, step by step. And a few minutes later, like, oh, I've got this. I totally got this. It's just that momentarily decision. You either buy into it or like, no, I'm not buying into it. I don't believe it. I choose what I believe. I control my mind. My mind doesn't control me. Right? So let me know again what comes through for you, what you have been experiencing. And again, I hope it is one of my deepest desires to make conversations like this stigma free because no matter what the number on your bank account, no matter what the number on your scale or scoreboard, you are human. You're allowed to have a human experience, and we all have this human experience. And what I'm noticing is that a lot of times when we doubt in ourselves, we tend to put others on pedestals. We tend to look up to them as if they're something more than we are, and buying into that illusion that they have it all figured out. And in turn, when we are the ones who are being put on pedestals, we buy into this pressure of, oh my gosh, I now have to be this rock for my people. I can't show my vulnerability. I can't show my scars. I can't be really open and honest and raw and real because how are they going to trust me? How are they going to rely on me if I am not the rock that's unbreakable, right? That doesn't work this way. It really doesn't. It does not work this way. You are human. We all are on this journey. Some of us are further than others. Some of us have gone through certain parts of the amusement park, if you will, already and are now in this part, while somebody else has yet to go through the other one. But with our experience, we can lead them through. At the end, we are all equals at a certain level. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you're gonna not just feel better about yourself, but give yourself a permission to stop judging yourself. Because it doesn't matter what others people think. It doesn't matter what others have been through. It really doesn't. It's all about how you feel about yourself. And that in itself, in the work that I do, it's so interesting when I think back how I used to be this person who believed. I mean, really, I thought it was the only way that I believed that all you needed was amazing strategy, kicking the butt, determination, perseverance, showing up, rolling up your sleeves, pushing and pulling and making it happen, right? And when I was working with some of my earlier clients, that's exactly how we do things and how we got things done. But the older that I'm getting, the more experiences that I get, the more the life has tested me, and the more that I got to create and enjoy, I'm like, ooh, there's so much more to it. There is so much more to it. And when you allow yourself to open up your soul, open up your heart, reframe your mind, literally reprogram, upgrade the operating system, if you will, I mean, you become limitless. Sky is the limit, not even, right? There's no limits for you. So it's so interesting to compare how we used to work and how we work now. And because I know how easy it is to fall into the old habits, to buy into the old stories, to jump back into the old patterns, even after we think we have dissolved them, that's one of the reasons why I do make myself available for clients at the level that I do, because it's not just getting together, mapping it all out, give you this piece of paper and you're on your own. That's the easiest, the fastest way, but it's not gonna last long. It's yet another, hey, Ashley, it's yet another band-aid, so to speak, right? But when you understand how everything is connected, and I actually just draw it, let's see if I have it here. I don't think I do, but I did something yesterday and it blew me away. Not with my own horn, but seriously, when you look at yourself and when you look into your life, and let's say you draw a big circle and you put yourself, and you put your family, and you put the desired lifestyle, and you put your mindset, and then you put your business, right? The business model, the way you market, the way you manage your support team. All of them are connected. You can draw the lines from each and every one of them. It's like an amazing, sophisticated web. And I think that's what falls through the cracks so often because a lot of times we compartmentalize things. We think, well, if I only focus on this part to get to this result, to get these numbers, when I tick all those boxes off, then I will be able to feel a particular way for personal life. Then I'll be able to live particular lifestyle. Then I'll be able to have particular relationship with my spouse or with my kids. That's not it really doesn't. There's no one day win. Everything starts and ends within you. It really does. Like I said, your mind is the operating system. And just like every computer or any tech piece that has an operating system, that is consistently upgraded. And at one point, the old programs, they don't run anymore. They're not compatible anymore. And the same as you. When you're changing, when you're shifting, when you're up leveling and upgrading your life and who you are as a person, all of those elements on that circle, right? From your family to your business and everywhere in between, it's all affected. At one point, you realize that what used to work, it's not going to work anymore. So when you look in the future and you start obsessing and worrying about, oh my gosh, like what else do I need to do and what else I need to create, how else I need to show up, how can I uphold my status, how can I do this, how can I do that, and putting all the pressure out of the fear for the future, no wonder you feel anxious, right? Or depressed, or both. Um, so again, I wanted to start this conversation. I really wanted to be open about it because I know there's a lot of us out there, usually highly intelligent, highly driven people in particular. And when you listen to the logical reasoning, of course it all makes sense, right? But still, there's so much under that wall that your ego does not allow you to touch it. And it requires a particular approach, a particular techniques. It allows particular time to really shift all of that. So, like I said, when we sit down with clients now, it's not just mapping things out on the paper, it's really starting with who they are, what they're experiencing. It really is step by step, creating the safe space for them, creating a space where they are heard, when they're embraced, when they're supported, yet challenged, because you have to get out of your comfort zone in order to create the desired change. But it's a lot different. And as opposed to having, everything figured out and telling, well, in 3 weeks, we're going to meet twice and it's going to be 45-minute call and we're going to be talking about this on first call, is that thing. But I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what my clients or you for that matter need. All I can do is to really show up for you every time we get together, be fully present, lean in, tap into what is that you need, and then give it to you from my bag of knowledge, experience, expertise, and connections, right? That's how we co create. And that's another way how we stay present, co create, and create a space for you that allows you to experience it as opposed to, oh my gosh, I'm judging myself. I have it on paper now. I really have 2 weeks to make it happen. Otherwise, I'm going to be, all the stories that you keep telling yourself. That's good shows. So Thank you for joining me. Let me know again if you have ever experienced either anxiety or depression, how you have dealt with it, how it affected your work, how it affected your relationships, how it affected you as a person, as a parent, as a spouse, as a CEO, as a leader, as a speaker. Because all the roles that we are playing, I think that's another analogy. All the roles that we're playing, just imagine you're just changing the hats, right? You can have the most stylish hat, you can look like Olivia Pope, fierce and fearless, but it's all fake because how you show up, who you truly are as a person, you can't fake that. That will always be that baseline, it will always be that operating system that runs in the background that dictates how you as a businesswoman, or you as a mom, or you as a spouse, or you as a daughter show up. If you want to change any of that, it starts within you. And it starts with fully accepting yourself, loving yourself, embracing yourself, honoring yourself, meeting your own needs. And when anxiety does come in, not pushing it aside, not judging it, feeling it, processing through it. Because what comes out on the other side of it, I am at loss of words. You really need to experience it. It's amazing. Have a wonderful day. Have an amazing weekend. And again, I'm here for you. Reach me out. Reach out to me. Reach out to me and we'll talk. Take care. Bye.